Okay, so I did want to include my history of mental illness within this playlist of my history of chronic illness, because it is a chronic illness. It's something that I still do fight against every day, even though I'm not currently on medication for it. So back when I was 15, I was put on antidepressants. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I had suicidal ideation, and I had attempted suicide a couple times. I was only on the medication for about a 6-month period, and I was able to detox off of it and was okay. I dealt with some bad ideation between the ages of 16 and 22. I did in college, in my first 2 years, attempt a few times, like 2 or 3 times. I can't really remember. College was kind of a blur with, I'm grateful for what it taught me, but I had a lot of my worst experiences of my life in college, to be honest. So I was put back on medication. I avoided medication from 15 to 20. I was put back on medication after I started having panic attacks my 3rd year of school, which was 2.5 years ago. I was put on medication again. Just run-of-the-mill anxiety medication. I wasn't on Xanax or Ativan or anything crazy. After I had some very severe social problems happen, and I had my first 2 hospitalizations. I was admitted. This was my first time that I was admitted for, my first and only time that I was admitted for psychological problems, but I had attempted suicide in my dorm and was caught by friends, and was in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. It wasn't a crazy long time. Another medication was added, and due to the there was kind of a shock to my brain with, all this. Randomly I got sick, chronically out of nowhere, and that kind of came on suddenly. I got very sick with that suddenly. I had these random 2 hospitalizations with these very severe side effects that I had to spinal taps. It was just too much. Too much had happened at once, and my stomach was being affected basically, and I was still in my flare of my inflammatory bowel disease, which I'll put a link to that video in the description. And essentially it caused me to stop eating, which originally was because of my gastrointestinal symptoms, and due to the crazy nature of everything that happened, I picked up on an eating disorder so quick. Within 2 weeks, I went from being, not psychologically normal, because I dealt with really bad depression, suicidal ideation, and anxiety, but I had a full-blown eating disorder out of nowhere. I came home from school. I ended up never going back and dorming, and my parents caught on to my eating disorder very quick, and I was in outpatient treatment. I was in intensive outpatient treatment for it, so that's called IOP. I was in IOP. I was in IOP for 5-ish months, and in November of 2015, my insurance cut coverage. I fought residential treatment for my I had anorexia nervosa, and I fought treatment, going to residential treatment. I didn't want to go. And I met some of the most life-changing people, excuse me. I met some of the most life-changing people in treatment. Stories I'll never forget. They really kind of changed my life, even though I was so anti-recovery. So I ended up getting meningitis in February of 2016, and I was hospitalized, and basically I realized that I'm sick enough physically that an eating disorder on top of it was only making me sicker, and that I needed to stop. And like that, I was discharged from the hospital, and I recovered, and I weight restored within, I think it took about 10 weeks to weight restore, because I had a lot of weight that I needed to gain, but I just went full-blown weight restoration and haven't looked back since. I haven't been on any medication since that hospitalization, and to be honest, as horrible as that eating disorder was to me, and as much as I wish it didn't exist to anybody at all, had I not gone through treatment, and had I not gone through what I went through in the 8 months that I had the eating disorder, I don't think that truly I would be in the mental health that I am now. I haven't been on medication. It's been a year. I've been on no medication at all. I was on 3 or 4 medications after I was or when I started my intensive outpatient treatment, and I was able to get off of them and was able to pretty much move on with my life, and I've had no suicidal ideation in a year. I've had bouts of anxiety. Some of them have been severe. I've had panic attacks, but not where I've even second guessed, my choice to be off medication. And with a lot of people, they choose to be on medication for, a very long time. And they don't trust coming off of it, but I felt comfortable coming off of it, and felt that if there was ever any need for me to go back on medication, that I could, if I needed to, and I haven't felt the need yet. And yes, I suffer from anxiety every day. I deal with depressive thoughts often, but had I not had that, tornado of mental, poor mental health with the eating disorder and everything, I don't think that I would be as confident as I am now. I am the most confident I have been in my entire life, and I can say that definitively. I've never felt so good about myself. I've been able to positively cope with negative things. And I have been able to go back, due to my other chronic illnesses, I'm only able to take about 1 online class at a time, but I have made huge strides in my mental health, and I truly, know that if something were to happen that I need to be back on medication, I'm okay with going back on medication, but I'm incredibly proud with who I've become, and that I've taken this opportunity to, provide awareness, and I'm grateful. I get very, very depressed about my health. I think it's very difficult to not be depressed when you live in constant pain, but it has been just eye-opening to have gotten better. And I'm grateful for the storm I went through, because it really kind of pulled me out on the other side. But I will definitely leave links in the description to the other videos I mentioned. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. And just know that if you're chronically sick physically, or you're chronically sick mentally, psychologically, no matter if you have people in your life that are being very supportive or not, you are not alone. I promise you that you are not alone. If you are watching this and you feel alone, message me. I believe my email is somewhere on my page. My Instagram is attached to my page. DM me on Instagram. If you are feeling in poor mental health and you feel alone, physically, in like a physical chronic illness sense or a psychological chronic illness sense, please reach out to me, because I am always a shoulder to cry on or a listening ear. But please, if anybody ever needs any type of support, I'm always here. I'm also going to leave links for hotlines for mental illness and eating disorder, eating disorder hotline and stuff in the description. So I did want to show, this is the only tattoo I have, the only tattoo I plan on ever having. This is a semicolon tattoo, and basically it means that I could have ended my story at any time, and I chose not to, and I chose to keep going. Instead of allowing it to end with a period, I used a semicolon and kept moving forward. And I originally got this when I was battling my eating disorder, but this applies to so much more than just psychological illness. For me, at least, this applies to not giving up on myself with my chronic illnesses as well. And unfortunately, the founder of Project Semicolon actually committed suicide a couple of days ago, which just shows you how horrible psychological illness is, because that person helped so many people, and thousands upon thousands of people have the same tattoo that I do. But again, I'm going to leave helplines and stuff in the description, but I love having this because it's a subtle way that I can remind myself that I'm strong. And it's even healed raised, so if I'm like really not having a good time, I do like kind of like touch it and rub it, because I can feel it, it's tangible. But I will leave all those links in the description.